Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk Destiny Virtual Talk Show. I am your host, Jamie Green, and once again, I am honored to be able to come and share with you tonight. Tonight, I have a very, very special guest with me. Um, I don't even have the words to describe how much ReShonda means to me. She has been an inspiration to me, and she doesn't even know how much she has inspired me and my family. As we go on a little further tonight. My sister's going to join us for a few minutes just to tell ReShonda how she has blessed us without even realizing it. But before we get into that, I want to remind everyone to like our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel. There are so many amazing conversations over there that will bless your life. As I've said before, this is my second year doing this talk show, and I didn't think I was going to be able to last a month, much less 2 years. Um, but this month is also Women's History Month. And so I have ReShonda here not just because he is an amazing author, producer, journalist, all of those great things. But I chose this month to bring women onto the show that have impacted my life in a very positive way. Some of them don't even know it, but they have encouraged me and nudged me along. And ReShonda Tate is one of those women. And so that is why she's here tonight. Of course, we're going to talk about the books. We have to talk about the books and all of the other great things that she is gifted to do. But I want to say up front that this woman is a gift. And I thank God for having her in my life. So let me just tell you a little bit about her in case you've been living under a rock or something. Um, ReShonda Tate Billingsley, as she's professionally known, is a national best-selling author of more than 53 books. ReShonda Tate has the credentials and the passion to bring stories to life. ReShonda writes both adult and teen fiction as well as nonfiction. Her sophomore novel, Let the Church Say Amen, was made into a film directed by actress Regina King and produced by T.D. Jakes and Queen Latifah. ReShonda made her on-screen movie debut in the film, which was one of BET's highest-rated programs. Her book, The Secret She Kept, which is one of my all-time favorites, was also made into a movie and aired on TV One. ReShonda made a cameo in that movie as well. Excuse me, a highly sought after motivational speaker and award winning poet. ReShonda is the recipient of the NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Literature for her book, Say Amen. Again, Say Amen Again. I'm sorry, I have that book. I don't know why I can't read it. Say Amen Again. And she was also nominated for her books, Mama's Boy and The Secret She Kept. She has received a plethora of distinguished awards and honors for her journalism, fiction, and poetry writing skills, including an induction into the Arkansas Black Hall of Fame and a Texas Top Author honor. Considered one of the top African American authors in the country, her books remain a staple on the bestsellers list and have featured in USA Today, The Washington Post, Jet, People, Essence, and Ebony magazines. Okay, that is a lot.
Yes.
And it is a blessing. Um, when I first met you, connect with you on social media, we also I want to say it was like 2012, I think it was, when you had sent out requests for submissions for a book called The Motherhood's Diary. And I made a submission, and I'm going to be honest with you, I honestly did not expect to be selected. The reason being is because I know that I knew who you were with regard to your writing abilities and what you would expect, what you were looking for. And I didn't think I had what you were looking for, but I submitted anyway. And I was so honored, like to know that I had been selected. And from that point on, I began to just follow you and watch you, and oftentimes be uplifted by you, because I've had a lot of physical challenges. Most people know about those, but people such as yourself, women such as yourself, encourage me and inspire me without me even reaching out to you. Sometimes I watch your social media posts and I'm having a really bad day, in a lot of pain or whatever the case may be, and you uplift me. And so I wanted to take this time to publicly tell you how very much you mean to me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
Yes, I remember when the time that I met you in person was in Virginia. You and Victoria were in Norfolk, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I came to the book signing, and I think that was the night that you got a call about your mom
Mm-hmm.
having her stroke. And I felt the weight of that, and I prayed and prayed and prayed for you all. And I'm so glad that Miss Nancy is still here. And according to Tanisha, she is quite the actress.
Yes, ma'am.
And so that is such a blessing. So I want to talk about your writing, but I also want to, okay, before I get into the books, my sister is waiting. I'm going to have her. When
Okay.
she found out that I had contacted you and reached out to you and asked you about coming on the show, she just was like, she's a major fan. So
I love it.
I'm telling her to be calm, but I'm going to bring her on the screen for a moment so that she can share with you what she wanted to share with you for years. All
Okay.
right. Hold on one second. Welcome, Kelly Green Adams.
Hello, hello, everyone. How are you?
Hello. Great. Great. It is such a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, listen, I feel like we're longtime friends. And the reason I feel like that is because, as I shared with Jamie when she told me that, you were coming on, I was like, oh my God, the thing I remember the most about you, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but when Jamie had her first surgery, she was in the hospital and you called.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, I was moved because with everything else that you guys had going on, and even though she was one of the participants in your motherhood diary, just that you took that time to like check on her and make sure she was okay. And I just felt like this was just a tremendous and a great sign of your character. Like, you meet a lot of times people that are very famous in their own rights. They've got a lot going on, and they recognize people are in their life, but they're not really into the to that part unless the person is serving a purpose. But
Mm-hmm.
I tell people this all the time. It takes but 1 second, less than 60 seconds, a minute, to just reach out to somebody. And when you took the time to just check on her, it just affected my life. So every time I looked at TV and I saw something that you had done or whatever, I just felt like that was a part of my family doing that. It was like, you see somebody who has like ingrained in our family just by caring. And I just wanted to share that with you, like how phenomenal that was for me and how much I appreciated that years ago. So I was very excited when Jamie told me you were coming on the show. And I'm in another city and state, but I told her, I was like, I definitely want to pop in. And she told me I could only say a little bit. So I'm going to pop back out. But
Well,
I
thank you
definitely
so much. And it is
thank
a
you.
pleasure to meet you virtually.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, Jamie, back to you.
Thank you. Bye. Oh wow. Yeah,
I
that's
love that.
my baby sister. And I'm telling you, she every time I mention your name, I'm sorry, what is going on? Every time I mention your name, she always says, "Do you remember that time when she called?" And I'm like, "Yeah." you keep telling me every time I say her name. And she said, it's just amazing to me because it says a lot about her character. And so I could not let you leave tonight without us letting you know that as much as we love your books, there is fire in your pen. I mean, you can write a story like none other, but those things that show your character are the things that we remember the most. And I wanted to publicly thank you for that. Okay, so let me ask you this question. When I first met you, when I first connected with you, I was calling you Rachel Jackson Adams more than I was calling you ReShonda Tate Billingsley, because you wrote the heck out of that character. I mean, I just loved it. And there was a constant battle between the Lady Jasmine fans and the Rachel Adams fans, and whose team everybody was on. But that camaraderie between you and Victoria encouraged me and inspired me. And I remember when I met you guys in Norfolk that night, and she said something to me that I still think about every now and then, about the pain and the suffering that you go through. And she said, Jamie, you take that pain and let it come through your pen onto paper. Mm-hmm. And that's how you release that. And that's why when I reached out to you all and you said you would come on this show, I was like, my mouth was hanging open, because I honestly didn't expect that I would be able to get you on here, to be honest. Not because I think that you think you're too grand, but I just know you're really busy and so forth and so on. So when you said reach out to your secretary, I was like, wow. So I absolutely want to thank you for that. So what's going on with ReShonda? I know you have a new book out, and you have another one on the way. Talk to us a little bit about what's going on with you in the literary world.
Yeah, so I have been busy working to promote my 53rd book, which is Miss Pearlie's Girl. So I'm still promoting that, and then hard at work preparing for the release of my next book, which is my first foray into historical fiction. So really excited about that. That is a big book. It is called The Queen of Sugar Hill. It is a fictional look at the life of Hattie McDaniel. And I really had a wonderful time exploring her life and just getting lost in all the research. So I have been working on that. I am doing screenplays. I write screenplays, and then we're in the process of trying to do our own movie. So just staying busy.
Wow, that's powerful. And I know since the last time I talked with you that you have gotten divorced and remarried, and I can tell from your pictures that you're posting and that your heart is just singing along. So
it is.
Yes, I can tell. And I just smile, and I'm like, I love to see people happy and loving life. And I want to congratulate you on this part of your life journey.
Thank you. That's why you never say never. Never tell God what you're not going to do. I said, I'm not going to ever get married again. And the Lord said, hold on, I got somebody I want you to meet.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I am. It is, it's like the second act of my life. And I'm extremely happy. You have somebody that's really, really supportive of your career. My children love him, and he's teaching me to slow down and smell the roses, because I will admit I am a workaholic. But I, in this second act of my life, I'm really trying to get that under control, and he helps me do that.
That's powerful. I am so happy for you. Life is just so unpredictable, and we can't go through life just miserable. And so I'm happy that you're happy. And I'm happy that he puts that smile on your face. Because as soon as I mentioned that you were about, you just lit right up like a Christmas tree. And that's wonderful. I am so happy for you. So how are the kids doing? When I first met them, they were little bitty babies, tagging along with mom. But now I see they're all grown up pretty much, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I have two in college. One graduates in 2 months, knock on wood, praise Jesus, from Howard University. And then I have another daughter at Edward Waters in Florida. And then my son is 15, about to be 16. So, yes, they are growing up.
Oh, my goodness. That's something. I just was thinking about, and I don't know if you've been aware of it this week, but your sister, Tanisha, had emailed me some trivial facts about you, and I've been posting them all week. So,
oh wow, I didn't know you were posting. I knew she had given you some trivial facts because she tried to demand payment for her services. I'm like, you've been with me long enough. No, you're not getting paid.
You two are hilarious. But I was trying to see if, who could guess who my secret guest was going to be. But nobody guessed. Somebody even said Whoopi Goldberg.
I wish.
So since they didn't guess, that means they don't get anything. But I watched even the relationship with you and your sister. It is just a blessing to see Black women, period, whether you're family or not, get along the way that you do. Now, I did mention about the book, The Secret She Kept, and how that was, turned into a movie that I watched multiple times. And I think the reason why that book blessed me so much is because of the subject matter, because I have mental health diagnoses with depression and anxiety. And it's not something that even today that we still are comfortable talking about in our communities. And so for you to write about it the way that you did really sparked something in me. And I was like, yes, I'm glad somebody's talking about this. What made you want to write about that subject?
Yeah, so we, like many families, we have mental illness in our family, a number of relatives, and just the approach that we took to dealing with these are people that we love. One of my relatives was dealing with some schizophrenia, and when she would have episodes, I remember one time my mother was like, "Close the door. I don't fool with crazy." And I'm like, okay, so is that how we gonna handle this? We're not gonna get help. And we would just kind of do like they do on Soul Food and put the crazy relative back in the room. Right. And I just am a firm believer of silencing the stigma behind mental illness. We all got got something wrong with it. Absolutely. And I wanted us to look at, you wouldn't shun someone that has diabetes, or you wouldn't shun someone that is dealing with cancer. So we shouldn't shun someone that's dealing with mental illness. And so I really wanted to shine a light on it. And that is one of my most popular books for that very reason.
Wow. I love it. I love it. And I think that I used it. I remember using it multiple times to begin conversations with people about mental illness. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. And the longer that you keep silent about it, the worse you get. And I remember when I was diagnosed, and the conversations that were had about me, around me, to me, about my being a fake Christian. If I really was a Christian, I wouldn't be having this, that, and other. But I'm grateful for people like you who realize that this is something that we need to talk about, because there are too many people suffering in silence with mental health issues. Right. Now, when did you first realize that you wanted to write, ReShonda?
So I have always loved making up stories since I was a little girl. My mother called it lying, but for me, it was just having this active imagination. And, I just really did. I loved reading, I loved writing, and I love just taking a story and making it up. But as you grow up, people tell you you got to stick to the facts. You can't just make up stuff. So what I learned to do, and my mother actually taught me this. She would say that if you write it down, it's a story. And if it comes out your mouth, it's a lie. I started writing it down, and I started writing these stories but I always have been a writer. And if I got in trouble from my mother, she would come home and I'd written a 2-page letter. And people would be like, stop writing us all these letters and notes. But I've loved writing. and finally decided in 1999 to stop talking about writing a book and write a book.
Wow. Wow. That's a blessing. I love it because you definitely have that gift. I tell people this all the time, and my family's teasing me about it. I started writing a children's book after my parents died. Um, and they've been dead like 10, 11 years now. I still haven't finished the book. And my grandchildren are like, Nana, you said you were going to write the book. When are you going to write the book? I'm like, oh, be quiet. So when I see people such as yourself, saying this is my 53rd book, I'm like, what in the heck? Like, I can't even get through one. Wow.
Yeah, but you start. I had one book at one time. I had no book at one time. And so I think what has to happen is your desire to write has to become greater than your resistance. That's one of the things that Victoria used to always say, is that you just have to want it more than you can think of all the reasons why you can't get it. And so we have to put anything, and this is not just with writing, this is really with anything. You have to put aside all the reasons why you can't, because every minute you spend talking about what you don't have time to do could be spent doing it. And so, that's just kind of been my philosophy. Now, life will get in the way, and that's what keeps people from realizing their dreams. So I'm a firm believer in just setting small goals, whether that is saying I'm going to do 1 page a day until I get this finished, or 1 paragraph or 1 word a day. But it's just moving forwards. One of my favorite quotes is from Les Brown, and it's, you don't have to be great to get started, but you got to get started to be great.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So, ReShonda, one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I let you know is that I started this format in March 2 years ago to honor my mother. She transitioned in the month of March, and so I wanted to have mothers. That whole month of March, I had mothers come in and talk about the gift of motherhood, the ministry of motherhood, the challenges and the blessings. And at the end of that month, someone said to me, you should keep doing this because you're really good as a host. And I'm like, what? So I kept, I'll think about it. But then I started getting nudges from my family members or whatever. So here we are 2 years later, we're still doing it. And the purpose, the format, I like to think of it as being purpose driven, because I'm always somewhere in the conversation. And I don't like to refer to them as interviews. I prefer to have conversations with people. And somewhere in the conversation, I want to inspire somebody to pursue their purpose. What would you say? How would you describe for us what your purpose is, what you believe your purpose is, and how you are fulfilling that purpose?
That's a great question. Really, I think that my purpose is to change lives through the written word. You think a lot of times when you write fiction, I write fiction, you think, oh, I'm just sitting there making up stories. But some of the most profound feedback I've ever gotten has come from people who say, my life was changed by your book. In fact, the secret she kept when the movie aired, I got an email through TV1. She emailed TV1 and they sent it to me. She was going to commit suicide. Wow. And she saw the preview for the movie. So she decided to watch the movie and was so moved that she ordered the book that night. And she said she stayed up all night and read the book. And she just was like, somebody gets me. Wow. And she said the book saved her life. And I'm thinking, all I was doing, I was just writing a story without realizing the impact that you're having on people who can see themselves. Because a lot of us grew up without being able to see ourselves in stories. Absolutely. And so I really do take that gift that God has given me. I don't take that lightly. I know that I've been put here for a purpose. And one of those purposes is to help change lives through the written word.
I love that. I love that. And your being here tonight is encouraging me to continue pursuing my purpose, because, this is kind of funny, but it's not funny. I had invited a couple of other authors, well-known authors, to come on to the show. And they both said, sure, just give me a couple of dates to work with. So when this was last year. So when I announced that they were coming, some lady who I never knew, because social media makes people so bold. She inboxes me to tell me that these two women are celebrity status authors and they are used to A-list interviews. And so she recommends that I watch some Oprah Winfrey interviews so that I will know how to interview these people. So she caught me on a good day. I had taken my medicine that day. So I didn't go all the way left, but I told her they know the show who I was when they agreed to come. And really, your opinion is not necessary. So have a good day. So, of course, what I told both of these ladies, what this person said, they just went all the way off. One of them, went way off. But your being here tonight encourages me. Because my sister says to me sometimes, she says, Janie, I think you don't really fully understand the connections and the resources that God has blessed you with. And so you don't take advantage of those things. So she said, some people that some of us will never have connection with, but we almost worship from afar. But you don't reach out to these people. So I was like, well, they're busy. They got stuff going on. She said, well, all they can do is say yes or no.
That's
so
it.
We had this conversation like every 2 or 3 months, it seems like. So the day that I decided to reach out to you in Victoria, I took a deep breath and I sent the text. And you responded, I think like the next day, and said, get a couple dates together. Let me know when you. And I immediately called her like, oh my God, ReShonda Tate Billingsley is coming. And she's like, I told you, you just have to ask. All she can say is, I can't do it or I can do it. So.
Yeah, see, I'm just big on believing in every person that you see up on your way, that you see on your way up, you can see on your way down. Yes. So, I'm that person that will be on the red carpet. And while everybody else is stopping at entertainment tonight, I'm going to stop at the young blogger who is trying to break into the business. But I wanted to share real quick a story with you. When I first started out, I had a book signing and there only 3 people showed up to this book signing. And the bookstore owner was so apologetic. And I said, don't worry about it. I'm about to give these 3 people the best of me. And we had an amazing time. Even they were apologetic that nobody showed up. Wow. But I gave them all of me like it was 300 people in that room. Well, it turns out that one of them was married to a buyer from Walmart. And she went home that night and raved about me, raved about the books and the attention. And that was on a Saturday. On that Tuesday, he ordered 17,000 copies of Let the Church Say Amen. Wow. So that's how I ended up getting into Walmart in the first place. And so imagine if I had gone in there with a stank attitude, like only 3 people are here, I would have blocked my own blessing. Absolutely. And so you don't do things expecting to get a blessing in return. But I do just look at whether it's 1 or 1,000, I am going to give someone that took the time to listen and to hear from me, all of me.
Wow, that's powerful. I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life because that's powerful. And also, while we're talking about that, I want to thank every one of you who are tuned in right now. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I'm in this StreamYard app, I cannot see comments. I see a comment from one of my guests. Patricia is watching through YouTube. I can see her comment, but I see some of you are commenting on Facebook. And I honestly cannot read these comments. And I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you or anything like that, but I really can't see. But ReShonda and I both appreciate you guys so much for taking time to join us. Now, I did want to see if I could see a couple of questions. If anybody had any questions for her, I would like to ask if I can ever see the question. But in the meantime, I just want you to know we appreciate you. I do see you, and I do thank you for being here. Now, ReShonda, as we're closing out the Women's History Month, what would you say? And I just didn't want to spend this month talking about women who have transitioned into the next realm, and how, I appreciate everything they've done. I really, really do. But I just feel like there are women that are still alive that are impacting lives every day, such as yourself, affecting people spiritually, mentally, physically. I mean, there are days when I'm in so much pain, I can barely walk from one room to the other. But I have a whole shelf full of books that if I can get over there to those books and just read a book, that'll take my mind off of what I'm going through. What would you say that as a woman is your greatest asset?
It's something that so many of us have within ourselves, and that is our ability to persevere in spite of. We are thrown things on a daily basis that can knock us down,
Yes.
obstacles that can just impede our path. And I always tell people I don't feel like I'm an extraordinary woman. I feel like I'm an ordinary woman who does extraordinary things.
Okay.
And that is because I am just like, I'm going to try it. My mother always says, you make me tired because you always doing something, because I'm going to try it. My kids are a little surprised because my daughter was at George Mason University and she was miserable. She went there and she majored in international politics, but her heart was in fashion design. I don't believe in going to college and getting a degree in something that you hate doing, because it will be a waste of money for everybody. And so I'm like, go for it, follow your dreams. All my friends were like, you are crazy. You telling her to go be a fashion design major and she'll graduate and won't be able to find a job. Okay, that's a chance she'll have to take.
Yeah.
But I believe I don't want my child, I don't want to leave this earth saying I should have. I want to leave this earth saying I did.
Yes, I love that. Wow. What is your ultimate vision for ReShonda Tate?
I would love to just continue right now. So I have switched over to historical fiction, which I absolutely love. Diving into the life of Hattie McDaniel. The book is called The Queen of Sugar Hill, and it'll be out in January of 2024. That has just been, I've never worked so hard on a book, but it's been just life altering for me and what I want to do and telling those types of stories. So I'm excited about that. But I also love film, the film side. So I would love to just have one of my screenplays go into a major film. So we're starting off small. We Victoria and I have a publishing company, but we also do production. So we're working on our first movie, because again, we have people making our stuff into movies, but we decided, why are we sitting around waiting on people? Let's make some stuff on our own. So that's a journey, because I can't be great at everything. And my first script I wrote, a producer was like, you need to stick to writing books. But instead of having that, dissuade me and me say, oh, well, I can't write scripts, I said, okay, let me go back and figure out what I need to do.
Right.
And so
right.
I'm getting it down. I haven't mastered it, but I'm working on it. And I would just love to be able to go retire off into the sunset, if I were to ever retire, saying I've done everything it is that I want to do.
I love that. And I say that all the time to the young people that I interact with, some that I have adopted as children of my heart. Like, live your life.
Yes.
Be happy. Like, stuff can happen in the blink of an eye that could change the whole trajectory of your life and knock you off course. I know when I had that first stroke and had that first surgery, when I came out of the operating room, my whole left side was paralyzed and I couldn't talk. Mm-hmm. And my life has been changed ever since. So there's a lot of things that I wish I had done that now I'm not physically able to do. And so instead of sitting around just saying I'm going to lay here in my bed until I die, I said, I got to find something that I can do. I can't do what I wanted to do, but I can do something. And so this right here is one of the things that I've wanted to do, because I don't know if you remember or not, but way back in the day, I had a blog talk radio show. So I've always liked to run my mouth and talk to people. And I remember when I also had a virtual book club, and we were reading one of your books, and then you were coming on to talk about the book. And when you came on, said you were sitting in your car. Your son was at either practice or he had a game.
Mm-hmm.
And you did the whole conversation with the book club in the car. And it's things like that that I don't forget, because you could have just said, well, it's not convenient for me, I can't do it, we have to whatever, but you didn't do that. And I just publicly had to say, because I've only attended a couple, but there's been a lot of death around me lately with family members and friends and whatever. And every time someone says, it's almost like when you go to social media anymore, it's almost like an obituary, because it's like every other post is about somebody dying. And so I said, I want to make a big deal out of giving people their flowers while they can smell them. And that's the main reason why I wanted to have you here tonight.
Well, I appreciate you and all that you're doing. And, you know, you had said something earlier about when you get down, that's to be expected, because that's how life is. But one of the things I encourage people is your circle. Your circle is everything, because a rising tide lifts all boats. I had my moments. I went through a horrible, horrible time in my life where I was on the sofa and I was having pity parties. But the problem was I couldn't get any of my girlfriends to come to my pity party with me. Yeah. And so when you're having a pity party by yourself, at some point you're gonna be like, okay, this ain't no fun. Let me get up off the sofa. And so that's what happened. You know, my sister, my close friends, they would come in. You all right? You done crying? Okay, you not? All right, we'll holler at you later. And so it was like pull it together. And so that shortened the length of time I felt sorry for myself. And I just got back up and made it happen.
Powerful. I was trying to look and see if I could read any of these comments, and I can see some. Several people are saying that they're really enjoying spending time with you tonight, that you're speaking such amazing words of wisdom. And, you know, like, you can feel the love that people have for you. It's not like just she's a Black woman that writes books, but she tells stories that impact all of us, that all of us can relate to. Because I'm not going to just pick up a book and read it just because the author is African American. Mm-hmm. I need to have a story that grabs me and gets my attention. And I too have just recently, in the last year or two, started really getting into historical fiction. So I'm really looking forward to your book. And I'm sure Nicole will keep me posted as to when it comes out. But I'm just absolutely like speechless right now, because, and I'm trying to keep myself together. I thought earlier today I was not going to cry, because life is so full of turmoil and so full of things that cause you to make you want to just say, I just can't do this. And when you have people in your life, like you say, that will nudge you along and say, you can do it. You might not be able to do it as fast as you used to. Like one of my friends says, I'm still jumping, just not as high as I used to, but I'm still jumping. And when you are blessed to have people in your life like that, whether it's a spouse or your children or girlfriends or male friends or what have you, it is such a blessing. Mm-hmm. I absolutely don't want to have you leave this platform without understanding just how much I love you. And it's been years since I've had the opportunity to speak with you one-on-one like this, but I will never forget the words that you speak into my life. And I don't want you to forget just how much you are loved and appreciated. We don't just love you because you write good books, but we love you because of your spirit that comes from what you write.
Well, thank you so much. And I love you too. And I'm so happy to take part in all of this, and honored that you would have me on your show.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, I did want to let everybody know also that Victoria Christopher Murray was going to join us tonight as well, but her schedule did not allow it. So she will be joining the platform hopefully sometime this year. But these ladies have been such a blessing to me. Even when, I remember one time I won a box full of books.
Yeah.
I won a box full of ReShonda Tate Billingsley and Victoria Christopher Murray books. And even though I had duplicates, I would not give them to anybody. Like, people will be like, "Oh my God, can I have that book?" No. Well, you have. It doesn't matter. It's mine. It came from ReShonda and it came from Victoria, and you're not getting it. And so you all have blessed me so much, and I look forward to so much more from you. I look forward to so much more for you. So your next project is coming out in January of next year, the historical fiction. So what are you doing regarding your production? Now, you mentioned the Black Girls. What is it called?
Brown Girls Entertainment.
Girls, yeah. Talk to us a little bit about that before you leave. I see a lot of other authors, young authors especially, that just makes me so excited, that are a part of your publishing family. Tell us a little bit about your publishing.
Yeah, so Victoria and I started a publishing company called Brown Girls Books. And, so to be perfectly honest, our aspirations were a lot larger than our capabilities because we have a fantastic team that helps us out, but it really is a lot of work. So we aren't able to publish as many adult books as we would like to, just because we both have our individual literary careers that have really taken off. But, our team keeps it going, and we do focus a lot on our young authors that we've been able to publish the Brown Girls Kids. And then we're really shifting over to Brown Girls Entertainment to do more of the movie side. But, we've been blessed over the years. We published over 40 authors and just had the opportunity to give so many fan favorites and aspiring new authors a chance to have their voices be heard.
That's powerful. I love it. I love the fact that you don't just focus on your own careers, even though God has blessed you greatly and continues to bless you, but at the same time, you're bringing other people along with you. I love that. I love that. Okay, well, I think since I can't see if anybody has any questions, I'm going to wind this up. But again, I thank you so much. I would like to remind everybody to connect with ReShonda if you are not connected with her here on Facebook, ReShonda Tate. What is your new last name?
It's Caradine. And so that's the great thing about, about my husband. He's like, you have all of these books with your former name. The only reason I've gone to just Tate because it's a completely different genre. So now I write under ReShonda Tate, but it is, my new name is Caradine.
Caradine. All right, then. And thank you so much, Mr. Caradine, for sharing your wife with me tonight. I appreciate it. As a matter of fact, I think I saw where he liked one of the posts that I made with the trivial information on it, because I tagged
he's
you
a big supporter.
That's awesome. I love that. So I want to remind everyone to please connect with ReShonda here on Facebook, on Twitter. It's ReShonda T. And just stay in touch with her. Go to her website. You really will be blessed by the gift that is ReShonda Tate Billingsley. ReShonda, what is your website information?
So it's ReShondaTate.com.
ReShondaTate.com. Okay. And her latest book, Miss Pearlie's Girls, I meant to talk a little bit about that. Can you just give us a synopsis about that book? Because I'm hearing
Miss Pearlie's Girls. Yeah, it is about a mother, a woman who is dying, and so she has summoned her estranged daughters home, and it is really just what secrets and lies they are trying to come to terms with. It is what happens when you have secrets and lies in your family, and I'm really excited about the book because it's still doing really well.
Awesome. Well, again, I'm going to let you go. I try not to keep my guests too long because I don't want them to say I'm not coming back because you talk too much. But I just really appreciate you taking time to be with me tonight, giving me this opportunity to tell you how much I love you. For everybody to get a chance to see your smiling face. It's been a long time since we've seen you, and you just have no idea what an impact you have. And I want you to remember that you are loved, you are special, and we're just so honored to have you in our lives.
All right. Thank you so much. And you have a good night.
You do the same. Thank you.
All
Again,
right.
remind everybody to please connect with ReShonda. If you did have any questions or comments that you wanted to get to ReShonda, you can put them in the comment section. I will make sure that she gets them after we go off the air. But again, thanks everyone for joining and for showing ReShonda so much love. Thank you so much. You have a great evening.
All right. You too.
All right. Good night.
Good night.